Tutor Group 1. We're doing a presentation for the reflective design report. In this report we are talking about flooding, and as we are suggesting proposals as how can we protect current properties within Durham's 1 in 100 flood zone. We're considering social, environment, economic and technical aspects.
So Durham is prone to flooding for a couple of reasons. One of them is to do with the geology of the area, which is the bedrock is relatively impermeable, which means the water drains through slowly and more of it ends up on the surface. And the glacial till as well, which is very impermeable, which is like the top layer, and that also contributes to the problem of more surface runoff. Furthermore, it's a relatively tidal river because it's situated quite close to the sea, and it's also a bit further downstream and a little bit upstream. There's a confluence of rivers, so that's a combination of two flood basins combining all of their water into this one river, which makes it, when it gets wetter, it floods a lot quicker because there's a lot more water in it.
The recent urbanisation in Durham has also increased the flood risk, as the increase in use of concrete and also man-made sewer systems means that there's a faster surface runoff and then greater increase of flooding.
We then researched some recorded flooding in and around Durham. Here are a few examples. So within Durham, in 2009, the River Wear burst its banks into the city. Due to the severe flooding, Durham Sports Centre was damaged. In 2012, the River Wear also burst again. This resulted in damage of any riverside businesses. Now, in and around Durham, here are a few examples. One area in Chesterley Street, known as Broadwood View, is subject to property damage. The last recorded occurrences were in 2005, 2006, 2009. Also in Chesterley Street, in 2005, the town centre and Harvey was also flooded.
Seeing as we couldn't protect all of Durham from flooding, we had to look for the main high priority areas, of which we picked 3 out. The first being Her Majesty's Passport Office, which is important as it's the main passport office in the northeast of Britain, and it serves over 6 million people a year. The second being East Durham College, which has over 6,400 students on it and expensive sports equipment. And the final was around the Elvitt Bridges, which has a large shopping centre and residential streets, which are at a low level compared to the river.
So here are the chosen flood measures for Her Majesty's Passport Office. We've got satellite and LiDAR, we've got anti-flood materials, we've got flood control drills, we've got increase in the river embankment, and we've got the option to build dams.
So finally, we choose the fourth method to protect the passport office, because for the first one, second one, and third one, we cannot control the flood directly. And for the fifth one and fourth one, we can control it. But if we build the dams at the river, it will also cause a lot of problems, such as environment problem or that. And for the fourth one, it is cheaper than build dams, and it can control the flood directly. So finally, we choose the increase in river embankment.
The measures we decided for Durham College was a flood detention reservoir, because it doesn't have much impact on the environment and can hold a large volume of water. We didn't decide to do channel widening because it disrupted the environment too much, and we decided to do preparation because it's easy to implement and cheap.
The other ones we considered were flood warnings, which decided we would definitely use this because it gives everyone like an opportunity to move all their things upstairs and like input their preparation, which could be like flood walls, like that you put in your doorways or things like that. We didn't choose a flood wall because it was very unnatural and it's quite disruptive to it doesn't fit in with the area that we're trying to protect because it's all green lands and fields, and also it's very expensive for the amount of area that we would need to implement it for. And then lastly was natural management. This wasn't really applicable to our area because there's already lots of woods and open fields around, and the actual area is acting a bit like a flood retention like overspill area, and we kind of didn't want it to be that because there's expensive stuff built on it. So natural management would happen further up the river, but we couldn't find any suitable places there. More could be implemented, so it takes too long to become effective as well.
So for the Elvet Bridge area, we had to look at 5 different methods. The first was the flood detention reservoir, which was good because it could benefit all of the areas that we wanted to protect. As well as that, it would be quite far out of the way, so it wouldn't intervene in any of the city. The second was having flood walls, which would benefit because when the river level rises, they stop it going over the banks. And similar to that, there was a levee, which would do a similar thing, but it would sacrifice a bit of land to contain the water. Then we looked at giving out warnings to the shops in the shopping centre and residents, which would be fairly easy to do, and it would help them prepare for the flood. And finally, we looked at dredging the bottom of the river to increase the volume of the channel. However, that would also increase the flow speed.
The chosen measures were a flood detention reservoir because it obviously benefits more than just our area. A flood wall was also decided for the outer bank of the meander to protect the shopping centre and some other businesses there. And a levee was chosen around the inside because it was a natural grassy area, and the levee would fit in a bit better to protect the commercial area here and also the houses around the outside. In summary, the flood detention reservoir was chosen as it benefits all of the sites downstream from it, along with some other individual measures at each site. Over £30 million of investment was saved across all the areas protected, and the processing of 6 million passports was also saved. In general, the flood alleviation scheme has a direct positive impact on countless lives in the county of Durham.